Hello everybody and welcome to TTG's webinar with Tourism Saskatchewan. I'm Pippa Jacks, Group Editor at TTG. Really excited to be joined today by Heidi Wessling, who is Travel Trade Consultant overseas for Tourism Saskatchewan. Hello Heidi.
Hi Pippa, how are you?
I'm good, it's lovely to see you.
It's great to see you.
Just to let our guests know what to expect in the webinar, we're going to be covering essential information about the destination, such as how to get there, who will enjoy the destination, how long visitors typically stay. Heidi will be sharing a presentation that's going to touch upon Saskatchewan's tourism highlights, best hotels and resorts, epic adventures, all sorts. And we'll round up with some marketing tips, selling advice, and asking what kind of support Tourism Saskatchewan is able to offer to agents. So quickly, we'll just set the scene actually, Heidi, before I hand over to you to present. And what's the best way to get to Saskatchewan from the UK and Ireland?
So flying into Alberta would be the most efficient way. And we'll talk later about strategizing in terms of what that looks like. But in terms of direct flights, so getting into Calgary and then grabbing your rental car or RV and coming into Saskatchewan would be the most straightforward way. Although you can fly into Vancouver or into Toronto too.
Okay, fair enough. And what type of clients will enjoy visiting Saskatchewan?
We find we're very much an outdoors type of product, and truly anywhere in Saskatchewan is, or I'm sorry, in Canada is, but Saskatchewan especially. And so those who are looking for adventure, love being outdoors, those who have more of perhaps a love for RVing and travel in that way, those who like the off the beaten path, unknown destinations, and also those who've been to Canada a few times and have been to the popular sites and do want to check out something different and something more to see in Canada, definitely come to Saskatchewan. And those are the types of clients that we see here in the province.
Okay, and what's the recommended length of stay?
Usually our itinerary is, if we're part of a 14-day itinerary, we are typically about 7 of those days, and sometimes 5. It really depends on where else they're going and again, how many times they've been to Canada before their current visit, to know whether they want to stay longer in Saskatchewan or keep it a bit shorter of a visit and stay longer next time. But typically that 5 to 7 night seems to be a really good balance.
Okay, and finally, what's the best time of year to visit?
Summertime is truly the more popular time of year. We are certainly an all-season destination, but summertime tends to be our busiest time of year and our most popular. And it's also a time of year where, regardless of what you want to do, whether it be parks or events or city stays, there's really a lot happening from that May long weekend to September long weekend timeframe. So that truly would be the best time if you're looking to maximize all the potential in the destination.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much for setting the scene for us. Heidi, if I can hand over to you now to share your presentation so we can go into a bit more depth.
You bet. I will do that right now. Okay. Pippa, are you seeing my screen?
I am. Perfect.
Oh, perfect. Great. Okay, here we go. So for many, when they think of Saskatchewan, they think of a picture like this. A lot of agriculture, flat scenery, and that's about it. And while we have a lot of agriculture here in Saskatchewan, I'm going to show you a few images that show you a whole different side of the province. Like this image here, taken in our Cypress Hills area, which is actually the highest point in elevation between Labrador and the Rockies. This is an incredible example of some of those hidden surprises when you get off the beaten track. Then we get this image here, which is taken in our far north of Saskatchewan, where we have 100,000 lakes and rivers. So now you're getting into the boreal forest and Canadian Shield. So very stunning scenery. And then there's this area here, which is Grasslands National Park. And so again, very diverse. And this area protects some of the last untouched prairie left in North America. So I've shown you a lot of beautiful landscapes, and they all make Saskatchewan beautiful and spectacular in their own way, truly making Saskatchewan one of Canada's hidden gems. So you might be thinking, yes, I get it, Saskatchewan's a beautiful place, but why would I come? And let me just actually turn that back to you as a question. I've given you a few options here of why, really good reasons to come to the province. And I'll just give you a moment just to take a look at those and see what you think. And I hope you may have answered B. And while all of those answers are correct, we're going to touch on the fact that Saskatchewan has a lot of the urban, the nature, varied activities, really a lot that you can do during your stay here in Saskatchewan. And not just the space, which sometimes can be overwhelming for some, but for residents, we really see this as an area of freedom and lots of room to roam, uncrowded, peaceful. And also the people in Saskatchewan, very friendly, strong sense of community and belonging. So those are all things your guests will come and find when they come here. And here I've already touched on a few of those: the friendliness, the landscape, the outdoor adventures, some dark skies, which are really exciting and stunning overhead, and some authentic Western adventures. So we'll cover those in a minute. With all the land we have in Saskatchewan, here's another question for you. How many provincial and national parks do you think the province has? Do you think it's A, B, or C? And if you've answered B, you are correct. We have 36 provincial parks, 2 national parks. There's Prince Albert National Park and Grasslands National Park. And we have close to 100 regional parks. So earlier when I was mentioning the RV, we are truly a great place to come and truly explore, but providing you get off that beaten path. So with all the landscape that we have, all the land, we also have ranches, which may not be a surprise to you. And here's the next question. How many ranches do you think we promote in Saskatchewan? Giving you a few options there. If you've answered A, you are correct. So let's first look at Risa Ranch. This ranch is located in the southwest corner in Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park. It actually just borders it, so right near the Alberta border. This is a 5th generation ranch, and this property has recently been designated a heritage site, which is the first of its kind in Saskatchewan. Here there's a variety of riding programs available, and they're only in 2-hour increments. So it's perfect for children. It's perfect for people who maybe want a little bit of ranch experience in their vacation, but not spend a lot of time on a horse, especially if you're not used to it. The other thing to note here is that you don't have to be a guest at the ranch to go for the rides. You can come, do the ride, have a meal, and leave back for your other accommodations. So it's perfect for day trips. But even if you do decide to stay overnight, they have bed and breakfast options as well as self-contained cabins for the overnight guests. Then we've got Laurietta Ranch, which is located 3 hours moving east from the Cypress Hills area. And here you even see by the landscape, it's a completely different experience. At this ranch, it is all about riding, and guests should be prepared to ride for pretty close to a full day. So ranching, the ranch work itself, it is very much part of this ranch experience here. And here's a fun question I thought I would throw in there. We do have little quotes on our license plates, and I am just curious which one of the options I've given there, which ones do you think can be found? And if you answer D, you would be correct. They are all of the above. But really, why I included in there was the land of living skies part. Saskatchewan really hangs its hat on that quote. The sky is amazing, just as much as the land and the expanse is amazing. You look up and it's just a whole other world, especially at night, where you've got the dark sky preserves in Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park and grasslands. And speaking of grasslands, you can see it right here. So grasslands is one of our national parks, and it protects common and rare plants and animals, as well as cultural landscapes. So here people can do self-guided tours. There's both driving or walking. There's unmarked trails or marked trails, campgrounds, and the interpretive programs that Parks Canada offers are absolutely incredible. And you can learn about the flora and the fauna, as well as the bison that are on the land as well. You get to see how they handle them, how they keep them healthy. It's quite a very interesting tour, and that's one of my favorites that I would highly recommend. So here's another question. What is unique to Saskatchewan, do you think? I'll give you a hint. How about now? Does that help? It is the RCMP, and specifically the RCMP depot and the Heritage Center. So the depot we have in Regina, it actually started in 1885, and it still exists today. And so all cadets coming to have their basic training will come to Regina for 6 months. And what's really neat is that through the Heritage Center, you get a behind the scenes look at where they train, and not only where they train, but how they train. So we have a motorized tram that'll take people on these behind the scenes tour, which are a lot of fun. And they're also at the Heritage Center itself. You can learn a lot about the RCMP and how they came to be in the province and really in Canada. And it's just a fascinating look at such an iconic Canadian product. So moving on with our little quiz here, located 45 minutes west of Regina is this landmark. It's a big moose. What city do you think it represents? So I've given you 3 options there. And if you selected A, Moose Jaw, you are correct. So I wanted to include Moose Jaw because it really is, if you're doing that Trans-Canada Highway itinerary, staying in Moose Jaw in Regina, moving on to Moose Jaw, it's a worthy stop, whether it be just for an afternoon or for an overnight stay. Now, Moose Jaw itself is only 35,000 people in population. It's just this charming little city. But during the summer, it swells to about 500,000 visitors. So it's a very popular location. And at Moose Jaw in particular is this Temple Gardens Mineral Spa and Resort. So it's one of my recommendations of where to stay in Moose Jaw. Not only for its location, it's perfectly situated right in the heart of the small little city. You just park your vehicle and you can walk everywhere. But also for this lovely pool. It draws from an ancient seabed, mineral-rich water from beneath the Earth's surface. And the pool is indoor and outdoor. It's a lovely experience, and it's kind of a really neat attraction as part of your stay in Moose Jaw. Keeping along that spa line is Manitou Springs Hotel and Spa. This is located almost 2 hours north of Moose Jaw. And what's really unique about this little village is the water that you see there in front of the hotel. It is like the Dead Sea of Israel in terms of the water quality. So it's very, very high mineral concentration, very dense, impossible to sink. And you've got this cool buoyancy that you can enjoy outdoors at the lake. Or you can stay indoors and enjoy, maybe on some of those cooler days, enjoy the same benefits of this water inside that resort. So they pump it in, they clean it, they warm it, and it's just lovely. What's also unique about this little village is the number of galleries around that are very walkable, so you can pick up some souvenirs. And then they have Danceland, which is an old dance hall, and they bring in live bands, so especially during the summertime, it is a hopping place to be. You get to mix and mingle with the locals and do some dancing. And what's super unique about it is it's a trick that was once used for dance halls, where they would put a bed of horsehair underneath the dance floor. So as you're dancing, it's like you're floating on air. It's very, very enjoyable, and those who are dancers would really appreciate that. So about an hour's drive from Manitou Springs, or 2 hours and 15 minutes from Moose Jaw, you come to the city of Saskatoon. And this only brings us about midway in the province. So kind of that central area. And you get this amazing city, which is actually our largest city. And it is described as the best of both worlds. So you get this dynamic urban energy in sync with nature, which, as you can see, the river runs right through the city. So there's nature trails, there's wildlife that will come in. So it's really a beautiful city. There's also home to craft breweries, delicious food scene, and a great artistic and creative spirit there. And also, if you're traveling by via rail, Saskatoon should be a stop along your journey. If you keep going, it would be a bit of a mess for sure. So one of the newer attractions in Saskatoon is the Reme Modern Art Gallery. This is located right along the river, so it's very picturesque. And what's special about this museum is that it's a comprehensive collection of lino cuts by Pablo Picasso. So this focuses on specialized collection, includes edition prints, working states, and experimental proofs that provide insight into the artist's process. It's a very cool stop. And what's also highly recommended is Juanascalin. This is our main Indigenous attraction here in Saskatchewan, and it's only located about 10 minutes north of the city of Saskatoon. So again, a lovely day trip. And there they've just undergone an immense amount of renovation. They have an application for UNESCO designation, UNESCO Heritage Site designation. So we're still waiting on the announcement with that. But in the meantime, with a lot of funding and support, they have created these amazing interpretive panels and really tell the story of the Indigenous people in that area specifically. There's dance performances, there's an on-site restaurant that serves Indigenous cuisine, and what's also new are these bison. So that's also they've been reintroduced to the land. They were once roaming very freely by the millions, and they actually came near extinction. So the fact that Juanascalin has brought them back onto the land and is kind of making it a full circle, it's really special, not only to the Indigenous people, but to all the visitors to be able to witness these beautiful animals, but also the connection that they have to the Indigenous people. Another special item to mention at Juanascalin is the Hanway Moon Dinner. They host these once a month on the evening of a full moon, and it's dinner prepared by a Métis chef. So she forages the land. Each meal is a little different depending on what's in season, and it's just a really special evening. The guests enjoy a meal outdoors, you can see up on the hill, and at the end of the evening they enjoy a story or stories by Dakota Star storyteller. So it's just a very special evening, immersed in culture, and a real special connection, not only with the people you're with, but with the land. So as you leave Saskatoon, headed north for Prince Albert National Park, I would highly recommend taking a detour. Located about an hour's drive from Saskatoon is Cudworth. And Cudworth is a small community in our province, but they have this brand new attraction called Wheatland Express excursion train. So they have, you can go just for a train ride, or you can do a train ride and dinner. And soon they will be offering in 2022 overnight sleeper car experience. So it'll be like a bed and breakfast type of experience where you stay overnight in a sleeper car and enjoy breakfast the next day. But this is such a nice addition to our province, given the history of train travel and how that connected really all of Canada. So this is kind of a neat neat new attraction, and one that I would highly recommend you include for your guests. So after your detour to Cudworth, you arrive upon Prince Albert National Park, which, as mentioned earlier, that's the second of our national parks. And as you can see from grasslands, it looks very different. So into the boreal forest, you've got a lot of nice shopping options. There's restaurants available. There are championship golf courses available as well. And what's also very nice is this property, which I'll show you soon here, but I want to just quiz you on if you think you know the name of the property, because this is where I would recommend you stay overnight. So looking at those options there, if you selected C, Elk Ridge Resort, you're absolutely correct. So this lovely resort is located right on the outskirts of Prince Albert National Park, so it's within driving distance to all that I had shown before in terms of those amenities. But here you get all the comforts of home and still get to be amongst nature. And our last question here, in addition, I had mentioned the 100,000 lakes and rivers earlier. So as you can imagine, fishing is a huge part of our product offering here in the province, as well as canoeing. But how many years do you think it would take fisher people to run out of new lakes to fish in Saskatchewan? I've given you some number choices there, and if you selected D, you are correct. It would take you about 270 years. So in addition to canoeing, and fishing is also a must in Saskatchewan. We have both fly-in and drive-in fishing camps ready to make your fishing experience the best it can be. There's shore lunches, home-cooked meals, and excellent service that won't disappoint. And I can promise you one thing, the fish that you catch will be huge, as you can see in that picture there. And to leave you with a few resources, we've got our website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us, check us out, and I'd be happy to also be a contact for you. We'll send that out, perhaps, Pippa, maybe in a follow-up. Can we send out my email as a contact?
Yeah, for sure, we can do that.
Okay, great. And I'll throw it back to you, Pippa.
Thanks, Heidi. If you can take off your screen sharing, hopefully we will get you and I back instead. Yes, super. Well, thank you for that incredible presentation. 100,000 lakes and rivers, that's just mind-blowing.
It's a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think the Wheatland Express just looks so cool. I really like the look of that. Heidi, can I ask you, in our final few minutes, what marketing advice you would give agents who are looking to sell Saskatchewan?
So definitely, if people are looking to book a vacation for Saskatchewan, I would highly recommend looking for itineraries with CSP travel agents or with tour operators, Canada specialist tour operators, itineraries that combine Alberta and Saskatchewan. And many of them do already have those itineraries. If they don't, ask them about it. Really, that is a great way to position the province, especially for people who aren't sure. But as you can see, we have as a destination a lot of fantastic offerings. So as a way to position Saskatchewan, telling people, familiar, i.e. the Rockies, with something a little unfamiliar, Saskatchewan, makes for a really nice itinerary, and it's a really a sure way to give people that comfort of knowing, I guess, that they're not taking a risk, so to speak, of putting all their eggs in one basket of a destination that they just don't know enough about. Yeah. But I can assure you, once they come, they love it. And they'd want to be back. But it's just, that's what we found is a great way to position the province and have success doing it.
Okay, so let those itineraries do the talking, really, in terms of the amazing experiences.
Yeah.
Are you offering any training opportunities for agents? You just shared some helpful links there.
So what we've done is, I know that Destination Canada is going to be launching their Canada Specialist program. They have a great deal of resources. Also through the Media Hub, through TTG, that's another great way as well to get information. So instead of creating our own, we just partner with, especially with Destination Canada, because they've done a lot of really good work in the resources that they've developed. But we do have resources to support in the way of imagery, YouTube videos. So if there's any other marketing type of support that they're looking for, reach out to me and I can get them connected with links appropriate to what their needs are.
You've got lots of rights-free content that they can just use as they wish. That's awesome. And is there anything else agents should know about selling Saskatchewan right now?
Saskatchewan really is very well positioned. Earlier on, I mentioned lots of room to roam, the fresh air, and I think that is right now more than anything. People are wanting a bit more space. I know that there's still those hot destinations in Canada that they might still have on their bucket list, but especially for those that want to balance it with city-state or are just willing to look for places where there's just that space and that air between people, we are very well positioned for that as a province. So come check us out.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much, Heidi. Thanks for really bringing the destination alive. That was really interesting. Thank you to all of our guests who've tuned in. Hope you found that helpful. You've come away with some new ideas, some new things you can be recommending to your clients. Do check out the Destination Canada hub on ttgmedia.com that Heidi mentioned, because there's all sorts of great, helpful educational content on the TTG Media website to help you boost your Canada sales. So thanks again, Heidi. Take care, everybody, and see you again soon.
Bye.